Hello, there's still a long way to go up. Ooh. Hello and welcome to southern Spain. It's been an interesting couple of weeks. We've been out and about and we have been doing some sailing.
Yeah, sailing and hiking. We've been travelling as much as we can. We have now been evicted from the Mar Menor, which was a bit of a shock. I hope you like the film.
Coming up, are these the biggest guns in Spain, firing up to 35 kilometres? 2 anchors, both deltas, spot the difference. And evicted from the Mar Menor. All boats ordered to leave. A beautiful bay, clear water, and time to relax and take in the Spanish summer sun. This is what I imagine the Mediterranean to be like. Tree-lined parades give us the chance to stretch our legs, while the beaches are still virtually empty, except for the locals. There are a few boats here. Most like us have been here all winter. Others, well, I'll let Steve take up the story.
And this guy here, who came in last night, can't really see because it's a wide angle on this lens, but he's about 30 metres from me, 25 metres. I've got 40 metres of chain out. There's no need to do that. You've got a great big bay here, could go anywhere you wanted. Fortunately, when he came in, I could look at my anchor alarm and see exactly where my anchor was. And I could see that actually it wasn't a big problem. It was the other direction from where he had put his anchor, but he had no idea where it is. Because you have no idea where people's anchors are in very light winds, you should give them a little bit more space, not less. If the wind comes up and everyone straightens out, you want to be far enough away. As it turns out, anchoring a bit too close was the least of this chap's problems. Here's my anchor. It's good sand here, so unsurprisingly, it's set fine. So let's have a look at the Beneteau. No snubber, but there's no strong wind forecast, so maybe we can let him off with that one. We do get freak gusts out of the hills here, so it's as well to put one on though. And have a bit more scope than this. It's anchored with hardly any. Oh, it is not actually anchored. Do you think he didn't want to get his anchor dirty? Regular viewers will know we're planning a technical special on our anchor chain that we've just fitted. Well, now that's going to be on the whole process of anchoring. Hopefully out next week.
In the meantime, a bit more about La Azoria. There is a road that takes you quite a long way up to a lookout post, which is unfortunately closed. Then a path takes you further up for no reason at all, except to get to the top. Oh, and there are some fantastic views. Oh wow, look, that looks fun.
Yeah, they're off out into the ocean.
It's not for the faint-hearted, but once you get up high, it's worth it. Always. Well, we're leaving the anchorage now. It's a lovely day for a sail. Sun is shining, light winds, and we're going shopping. Now that might seem a bit weird. There is a shop in the anchorage, but it's a small spa shop. And we heard last night that we are going into phase 3 next week, which means we can travel within Spain, which means we can go to the Balearics, which is something we haven't been too sure about. So we need to provision. Now, Mazaron, which is where we're headed, over here somewhere, over there, has a big Tesco's. So, joy.
Off on our shopping spree. It's a little bit of a swell out here, and there's a little bit of a reef in here behind us, so we stayed on board for a bit just to make sure the anchor's well and truly in. I think we'll probably move back to our anchorage. It'll be a bit rolly in here tonight unless this calms down. So we'll go to the wall over there and see if we can tie up. It's always a bit of a problem trying to leave your dinghy somewhere. It's a bit of a risk. We have a sort of a wire that we can put round and lock it up with. I have got a problem at the moment as well, in that the stupid little plastic thing. We did do this when I did the review of Aquamots and said this was just a stupid design, and it really is, because part of it's just now broken off. So to actually run, I have to keep my hand on it, which isn't easy to do. I'm waiting for some rocks at the moment, so I hope it restarts. There we go. These rocks just here, look.
It also slightly worries me that someone else can just put their finger on it if they want to.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the design should be, that you have something that goes in a slot or something, I don't know, that acts as your kill cord, but without it you can't actually run the engine. You can just take it with you, it'd be easy. But with this, we take the kill cord with us, but you can just put your finger on it, so it doesn't really make any difference.
We left the dinghy under the eye of the marina security guard and then took a walk through the streets. Mazaron is the biggest town we've visited since lockdown, and it's still quite empty. Most shops are keeping regular open hours. People are walking around. But I can imagine this is not your typical summer scene. Clothes shops are open. Trinket shops are open.
So apparently this is the place to come, the Food Co. Why is this the place to come?
Because it has Tesco stuff in it.
Oh,
Even though it's called the Food Co.
Oh yeah, that's the clue, look, it says Tesco's on there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, let's see.
So everything you want from home. Well, it's quite choppy.
It's a little bit of a swell coming in, yeah. I think we'll have to go back to our other anchorage. The boat's rolling around a little bit in here.
It is. Very rolly indeed, yeah, we will.
Well, we've got our supplies, so that's good. We're going to have maybe a month or so without anything. The restaurants aren't open, so we can't eat the lovely local Spanish food. But we've got we've got enough to last us, I think, now.
There's something about peppermint and licorice tea, you can't get it anywhere else. But we didn't bother to buy any wine because that is much better bought locally.
Okay. If you've watched the What Cruising Boat video, you'll know that I'm a big fan of cutters. I've had a lot of catches, more catches than cutters, but I think a cutter makes a better cruising boat. A lot of people say they don't like them because when you tack, there's having two foresails to deal with is a pain. Well, it's not really, because you can do them one at a time. I'll show you. We're going to tack now. I'll leave this here. Are you ready, Jude?
Yep.
So obviously the mainsail will look after itself. Once Jude is round, we'll get the Yankee round, let the staysail just back, and then deal with that after. So it does no harm to back the staysail. In fact, it helps you get round pretty quick. So yeah, there's no hassle really. You can get all that done, and then as soon as that's done, the only other thing to change is pull the car over on the mainsail. It just gets the boom more central, balances us up better. We really haven't got much wind here. There's only, well, we've got 8 knots apparent, so it's probably 5 knots true. So it's a wonder we're moving at all, really.
Our shopping trip had taken us from one side of the bay to the other, but while we were there, the wind had changed around and was now blowing from the southwest. That meant the best place for us to find shelter was just around the corner, even though there turned out to be quite a swell. Undeterred, we set off up another mountain, where we were told there was a marked track.
Like a mountain goat.
I know, of course, it's sort of.
It is lovely, look at this, it's just lovely rosemary everywhere. It smells great. But there is a good path.
The right way.
Once you're here, this is a proper path. You know, I thought it was actually going to be a road, because looking from the boat, you see this brick wall here. There's going to be a road behind it, but it is just a track. It's pretty amazing.
Well, there's one over there, so.
Well, that's it. It goes all the way around.
Yeah.
It's a coastal path. It goes all the way around. It is a marked path. You can see it on No Foreign Land. It had it marked.
There are even looking points along the way, so although we were on our own, I can imagine this walk can get quite busy. And of course there are options to cut corners, especially with Steve leading the way.
And the construction's in the middle of nowhere. And it's just got this incredible path. And obviously it's guarding the bay that overlooks Cartagena. Cartagena's right in there. And we showed all the fortifications around that. There's loads. Amazing. What people built in wartime. I don't know what war they built this in though.
The castle was built in the 1920s to protect the military base in Cartagena. This strategic location is over 200 metres above the sea, and someone decided to make it pretty.
And this just looks like a Disneyland castle, doesn't it? Look at that. I'd be surprised to see Mickey Mouse come out the door. It's incredible. It's got views over the bay where we're anchored, and also views right out into the Med. Wow.
I'm trying to get my bearings. Cartagena's that way.
No, Cartagena's over there. Cartagena's over there. That's where we sailed yesterday back from Azovia.
Oh.
Through here, around the corner. Quite choppy.
I'm lost then. A maze of avenues and turrets overlooking the sea from several directions. The other notable feature are these cannons, which have a firing range of 35 kilometres. A good thing they had some drawings to make sure they hit the right ships.
So it's a lovely morning, a bit rolly though. It's been rolly in this anchorage since we've got here, and last night was pretty bad. I'm glad we stayed here though, because it was nice to do the walk up the hills yesterday, but we're giving up now. The rest of our friends in here that are anchoring along with us, apart from two, have gone further up west, up the coast, up to the Mar Menor. That's really the only place we're going to get out of this swell, so we're going to have to do that as well if we're going to have any sleep. I'll just show you a little bit about how the boat is at the moment. You can see it's just that constant movement. It's not too bad, but gets a little bit wearing. So we'll go up there. We've got to go west anyway, because the Mar Menor is a better jumping off place to get across to Ibiza and Formentera from. We can sort of do it in a long day really. Even now it's the summer, we could the days are long enough to do it without an overnight, but we might actually just do it as an overnight. Don't mind overnight sailing, but that hopefully will be on Monday, so that's the thing we're looking forward to now.
It turned out to be a lovely sail up the coast, and we were heading east at last. But rather than go back under the bridge to the Marmenor, we're staying here in an abandoned ferry terminal. It may not look that great, but it has good protection, which is just as well. When the weather got better, we did go inside to meet some friends who have a cat-rigged boat.
Morning.
Bruce and Deirdre are from Canada, where sailing without standing rigging is more common than it is here. It sounds appealing.
So it's sort of come out of the Optimist, the laser type thing, isn't it?
Exactly. I mean, it looks like a big windsurfer for two, really.
Yes, yes, yeah. But so, I mean, obviously the beauty of it is no stays.
No stays.
No stays.
So the masts are carbon fiber, keel
Yeah.
stepped carbon fiber,
Yeah.
and they're very slender, and there's a lot of bend
taper,
in them.
taper nicely as they go
Yes.
up. So not much weight aloft, so that's a really good thing.
Yeah, and they'll actually spill wind if the boat gets overpowered. They'll actually spill wind out of the top of the sail because
because they're
so
flexing.
flexible.
But that's always the thing that I've sort of hadn't managed to get my head around with this, because obviously, you know, with a standard mast, you very carefully put it up, put the rake in, put that pre-bend in with with your forestay and your backstay. You get it to get the sail shape. Well, obviously the sail is cut for a mast that's going to be bent like this, but this can bend all over the place. How do you get a sail to have good shape?
Well, so the wishbones help shape the sail.
Yeah.
They call it a choke. It does virtually the same thing as the outhaul on a traditional rig.
Yeah.
But it pushes the sail both backwards and down at the same time because of the angle of the wishbone.
Okay.
Right? And it's a loose-footed sail. This is just a bag. There's
Yeah.
nothing in there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's structural.
Yeah.
So it will actually help shape the sail.
Yeah.
So when you're sailing closer to wind, you'll often harden the choke. That'll put more tension in the sail and give you a better sail shape when you're sailing close to the wind.
Yeah.
When you're sailing downwind, you ease off on the choke. It makes the sail fill up, and also the wishbone structure itself also helps to shape the sail because the sail actually lays against it.
Yeah, and people say that these don't go to wind. I mean, obviously they go downwind really, really well.
They
don't
do.
They?
That's where it really comes
upwind,
into its own.
how?
But upwind, I wouldn't say it's as good as a sloop would be or a cutter rig, but it's not bad.
Yeah,
I mean, it's you're not struggling.
Yeah.
No.
And of course, easy tacking.
Turning wheel. Just turn the wheel.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. There's no grinding winches. There's
And what about reefing? I mean, you've got that little, as you say, that inbuilt thing of a gust. It's going to spill some, and downwind you can, I would imagine, put them further out. You can go more than 90 degrees to spill the wind forward, can you? And give you good stability.
Yeah.
But if you actually need to reef, it's just like
any
doing
standard
main
reefing, main reefing, yeah.
And walking around this, I mean, the one thing you think is that
no standing rigging.
Yeah. So what is it? It's sort of going around.
That's it. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a different thing.
While we were looking at this boat, the Guardia Civil, we're looking at Fair Isle. And that's where this episode ends, because all the boats here were told to leave the Marmenor. And we have. And so here we are, just outside the Marmenor, all of us. As you can see, there's about 8 boats here at the moment, but it could be a lot worse. I mean, the sea is clear, there's a bit of a breeze, but it's in the right direction. But the reason he gave for evicting us was a bit strange.
Yes, he was talking about seagrass. Well, there is no seagrass in the Marmenor. In fact, there's no vegetation at all. There's been a massive growth of phytoplankton in there, which is why it's so green, and that's led to eutrophication, which is just basically everything on the seafloor is dead because there's no light gets down there. So, I don't know if it's going to be long term. It'd be a real shame if it is, because the Marmenor is really the only place of shelter from Westleys on this coast. So people depend on it. They'll have to change all the charts if they make that a full-time
Exactly. Don't know where people are going to be anchoring.
No.
Anyway, our plan now is to wait for a weather window to go in the other direction, to go out to the Balearics. We'll land on the first island we hit and start doing some really good sightseeing and sailing over the summer. I mean, things are freeing up. I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. We've got a long way to go, a lot of things to see, so stay with us and thanks for watching.
Thank you to our patrons and our subscribers.
Yes, do hit that button.